welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of Ep.5 podcast, where we bring the perfect concoction of humor, intimate conversations, and controversies to everyone's favorite podcast platforms. Our name derives from everyone's favorite time of the day, happy hour, where we gather with our friends and have interesting conversations around controversial topics. And typically, we're with our 4 co-hosts, but we have a special guest today. We'll get a little bit into who our special guest is, but as a reminder and an introduction for those of you who have never listened to Ep.5, I'm Sarah. We also have...
I'm Sierra.
I'm Jam.
I'm Shy.
And we told you we have a special guest today. So joining us, we have Nicole, one of the founders of 21 Seeds Tequila.
Hi! That's what we'll be drinking today.
Nicole, thank you so much for joining us for Ep.5 podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. We're going to ask a few more questions about the brand and things like that, but we wanted to get to know a little bit more about you first. So tell us, what is a fun fact about you that people don't know?
A fun fact probably that people don't know is that I was a double major. And being a double major, you try to go kind of the same category, you know, especially if you're going to college. You want to try to be on the same side of the campus as possible. And I was a biz econ major and a dance major. And let me just tell you, those are not on the same side of the campus. So I'd be running in my tutu trying to get to the cost accounting class where my teacher would be looking at me. I'm like, it's at this different side of the campus. What do you want from me? So there you go.
The grind is real. I graduated with a degree in econ, so I understand the struggle for sure.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna jump right into the drinking cocktail portion. So typically I make the drinks on the podcast, but today I got a little break. We had some cocktails pre-made for us. I got an espresso martini. The base in here is 21 Seeds Tequila. What? I think
it's a Valencia orange.
Valencia orange.
Yeah, and it's infused and it's delicious.
It's really good. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I love espresso martinis. So typically when I get them, it is with tequila. So when I see that on the menu, I'm like, yeah, I know what y'all doing.
Yeah. When you know, you know.
Right.
You know what you're doing, you know.
doing.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking, this is one of our like signature serves. It's called a spicy margarita, which last I checked, everybody loves ourselves a spicy margarita. It's with our 21 Seeds infused cucumber jalapeno. It's about a 5 out of 10 on the spice level. So if you want to add more spice, you can, but it's really, really refreshing. And too refreshing because, you know, I can get through these. See that right there? Boom. That's what I'm talking about.
So something else for this segment, we're gonna do a tequila tasting. So I pour sample sizes of each flavor. And if you don't mind, while I give out each one, you just tell us a little bit about the taste profile.
100%,
you know,
love it.
Different things like that. So
Let's
some facts
do it.
about it, that'll be great. So
as we're drinking that spicy margarita.
So the first one is the grapefruit hibiscus.
Yes. So while she's passing them out, what I'll say is, you know, we really pride ourselves that we're an infused product. None of us were flavored anything drinkers. We just wanted to have a more approachable profile to tequila, because tequila can be really harsh at times. So what this infusion does is it really just kind of smooths out and makes it a lot more easier to drink. In this one, we have grapefruit hibiscus infused tequila. And the color is from our pink hibiscus. So it's not coloring or anything like that. It's actually from the hibiscus that we infuse it with. Grapefruit doesn't have such a strong nose to it, but it sure is tasty. So bottoms up.
Cheers. That's really good.
Yeah.
Grapefruit is nice.
And we call this tequila the wrinkle-free tequila because you don't make that awful face.
Yeah, you do.
So, ladies, no more Botox. No. You can just drink 21 Seeds infused tequila, and it's, you know, there you go.
No, that was very good.
Yes.
I like them. So the next one is the cucumber jalapeno.
Let's do that one last because it has a bite. So let's do the Valencia orange next.
I love cucumbers and jalapenos.
Yes.
So I love spicy.
This is the one in the espresso drink, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And the orange tastes good with espresso. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
it's a good.
Well, it brings out, coffee can be a bit bitter, so it just kind of freshens it up a bit, so that it's not the same kind of flavor profile, So this, we'll wait for her to enjoy with us, of course. No woman left behind, ladies. Okay, so this one is the 21 Seeds Infused Valencia Orange. And this is the most versatile of the three, right? You can put it in an espresso martini. You can have it with what we call a seed and soda, which is a tequila soda, right? It's this with club soda. Add a splash of whatever seasonal fruit juice you have, like watermelon juice or pineapple juice. It is so easy to drink. I half the time have to argue with people that I did give them a full shot. Because they're like, you didn't give me a full shot. And I'm like, I did, and slow your roll. But it's absolutely delicious. So cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
I keep hitting it like I'm in college.
Nice. I think this one's my favorite so far.
So far. But there's more. My favorite part about these three is that people fight over what the best one is. Like they yell at me, they're like, no, you should love this one more than the other one, which makes me really happy because these are like my three children. So I don't have favorites, I just have moods. Like one day I want spicy, one day I want, easy, spritzy vibe, one day I want like grapefruit and citrus and bright. So this is actually the first infusion my sister ever made in a Brita that looked like water that we drank thinking it was water, but it was pure tequila. So if you ever infuse at home, please label it tequila and not water. But this is 21 Seeds Infused Cucumber Jalapeno. You can smell from the nose
I smell the cucumber.
the cucumber. And the reason why is it's a cool heat. It's a refreshing heat, right? Like think of when you have like fresh salsa, right? It's like there's a spice, but then you have that freshness of all that vegetation. That's what we're going for here. So, cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
That one was a lot stronger.
Well, then it's because it's a bit spicy. So that one, on all of these, you can really just, drink them. A lot of people drink them over ice or just with soda. That one I just love with the spicy margarita because that one, with a little bit of citrus, again, it brightens it up with a little bit of simple syrup. Again, these are really, the infusion process is super delicate, so you don't need to add that much to make a really nice balanced cocktail, and nobody wants to be eating their drink like in calories, right? You don't need to put triple sec or anything like that. It's just light, refreshing cocktail. So that's what we try to do. I'm gonna go back to my original drink.
Love it.
So I know you said that the cucumber jalapeno was the first flavor or infusion.
Yeah.
How did you guys come up with the last two or the newest two?
So 21 Seeds is actually 2 in 1.
Okay.
So it's 2 sisters and 1 friend. So it's my sister and I, and the little one. So she tells me what to do half the time. and one of our best friends. And my sister actually started infusing this in our kitchen because she could no longer drink wine. It wasn't sitting well with her. She wasn't metabolizing it well. And she moved to Blanco tequila, but she loved the ritual of having a wine, sit and relax, having a glass of wine at the end of her night. She's a mom, so God knows she needed it. And excuse me. And she wanted to drink, distilled spirits and Blanco tequila, but taking shots on a Tuesday night felt a little aggressive. And she really wanted that ritual, so she was a big cook and she started infusing. And so the first infusion she did was a cucumber jalapeno. And it did the trick. She would put it in a wine glass, drink it like a spritz happily for like 8 years. And she did this, and then she saw that a lot of her girlfriends and guy friends that were drinking less carbs and wanted to move to Blanco tequila were doing the same. They were ordering tequila on the rocks, a couple of limes or an orange or with soda, and wanted to drink lighter. And so she looked at me and she looked at our friend Sarga and said, do you guys want to start a tequila company? So sure, why not? And then we looked at what we would drink more often as Blanco tequila. So instead of doing a margarita, which typically has like a triple sec or something that has an orange liqueur, we wanted to infuse that flavor in there so you didn't have to put all the calories. And quite honestly, you want a fresh tasting drink. You don't want a sugary, fake tasting drink like you're sucking on a Jolly Rancher, right? Like you want a refreshing drink. We are very serious about our coffee and our cocktails, right? So like we want to start it in the morning with a nice cup of coffee, and we want to finish the day with a nice cocktail. And you want both of those things because you deserve both of those things to be perfect.
Perfect.
So that's what we did. Yes, and the grapefruit hibiscus, because a lot of people love palomas and a lot of people love grapefruit, and we look at it, our 3 tequilas as Blanco tequilas, which they are, with a profile that people like to drink, right? So a spicy profile, a citrus profile, both grapefruit and orange. So yeah.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
So, with this month being Women's Month, I do want to ask about some of your experiences as female entrepreneurs.
Yep.
Have you experienced any pushback as women in the beverage industry? And if so, how did you overcome those?
Well, anytime you do something different, regardless of whether you're a woman or not, there's always like, why are you doing it that way? Or what's going on? And so the answer is, yes, I did. and you know, we, first of all, we're 3 women that have never done anything in spirits. So we didn't know any of the acronyms that are shooting off at us, like we don't even know what you're talking about, right? And we came and approached our market very differently than typically how spirits is approached, right? They are thinking, you know, a lot of people are thinking about go and start at bars and restaurants, and then you'll build your brand, and then go to the supermarkets and the chains and all that stuff, and then go to the social media and that sort of thing. And we're like, that's incorrect. That's not how last time I checked, no woman that I know has walked up to a bartender and asked her about the history of agave. Right. What she's doing is she's saying, make my drink less sweet, and I'm going to go back to my girlfriends and have a fun night, right? And so we wanted to show up where she was, not trying to ask her to come to us, but we wanted to be where she already was. So we were on social media, we were on grocery chains and that sort of thing, because that's what we knew that she shopped. And so that's where we got a lot of that pushback, like, that's not how it's done in spirits. And we're like, maybe it isn't, and maybe we'll fall on our sword. But we know who we are in this world in terms of how we want to approach spirits, and we know who she is in this world, that who we're going after, and we're just not going to apologize for knowing exactly her point of view.
I have a question. So when you were a double majoring at, what school did you go to again?
UCLA.
UCLA.
I was very nervous about your necklace.
So can you tell us a story really quickly when we were downstairs? Because she gave me this look, and you know, if you live in Michigan, you see this chain, you get that look, you're like, you must be a Michigan fan. She's like, no, it looks too close to, what school was it?
USC Trojans.
It looked too close. She had the dirtiest look. I'm like, what did I do?
It's a little too close to comfort. If it was, I would be sitting on that chair over there. Yes, especially because not only is March Women's History Month, but it is March Madness, and I was just like,
wait a minute.
not sure.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So when you were majoring there, I know you said that you guys didn't know anything about spirits or tequila, so I assume that really wasn't your first, instinct to what you wanted to do in life. So what was it that you were trying to, your career goals when you were at school?
Yeah, so I was a serial CFO, right? I've been a CFO to Refinery 29, Bright & Co., one of the biggest fintech companies in Silicon Valley. So I had a very lucrative, nice paying job, important job, because there's not very many females, even as a CFO, in that level of a job. And really taking the leap with my sister, not only was I taking a leap to start a business in a company, in an industry that I wasn't familiar with, but, I had a really cushy life, and I'm like jumping in head first, trying to do it. So that was one thing. But 2, I had built and sold companies throughout my career, and I was like, why can't I do this for, myself and my sister and our friend. Like, why can't I just do it? And so I just said yes, and then worried about what that yes sounded like later on, but I said yes right away. It's like when you get proposed to, you say yes, and then you're like, wait a minute. But that's what I did, yeah.
Okay, cool. So speaking on the topic of Women's History Month, how do you make room for other women in the industry?
You know, I think that women in general are supportive of each other. You know, we have that village mentality, like if we win, we all win. And I have women coming to me asking me about questions in my industry and outside of my industry, and I'm always willing to help because I want all of us to succeed, right? First of all, we need more representation of who we are and what we provide. And if I can bring more seats to the table, I would love to do that. I believe there's two types of people. There's a person that holds a ladder up for someone to climb, and there's a person that pulls it out. And you can either be the holder or the puller. And I hope to God I'm always the holder, you know, and I think that you gotta just support. And you never know, it's like they say your net work is your net worth in life, and you never know how someone that's struggling one day could be helping you out the other day. So you always gotta have that village mentality.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you said it was your first time here in Michigan, in Detroit.
Yes. Love it, by the way.
What has been some like fun things that you've done so far in the city that you know you're like, oh, okay, this is.
Well, I've
cool.
drank a lot of 21 seeds responsibly, and you know I don't want to get in trouble. And I gotta say, I mean, you guys have really elevated the food game. There's been some really delicious meals. I really love all the diversity around here. Like, one vibe is very different than the other vibe. I feel like it's very multicultural. I really kind of like, I'm very happy being here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to leave tomorrow, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are you from originally?
So originally I was born in Greece, and then we migrated to Southern California, and then I've lived kind of in New York and San Francisco, and now my home is in just outside of Philadelphia.
Awesome.
Yes, so I get seasons now. Yes. Apparently no winter season, but I get seasons now, yeah.
Do you have any popular phrases said in Greece that you can teach us, that we can repeat today?
Well, yamas means cheers or to your house.
Yes.
I have other popular phrases that we cannot say on Yeah.
So let's play our game. I think that'll be fun.
Okay. So
Oh, there's a game.
Yeah.
I'm all up for a game. Made very competitive.
So it's kind of like a this or that
Okay.
type of thing. It's
Yeah.
with drinks.
Okay.
So we would give you scenarios, and then you let us know like which drink would fit the scenario.
I like
So
it.
I'll start with the first one.
Okay.
You're on a first date
Yeah.
at the bar.
Yeah.
So you're sitting at the bar. What drink do you order?
I would drink a 21 Seeds tequila soda.
Good answer.
It's a Sprite, it's light.
Yeah.
I can run quickly. So if it's not going well, you
Yeah.
said first date, right? Doesn't mean second date. It means it's first date. It's tryout season, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do a spritz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a friend who comes to you and they've never had a cocktail in their life. What would you recommend to them?
Again, I'd probably do a spritz on that same one. Not that I'm trying to like push a spritz, but you know, that's I think the most approachable, especially if because you can play around. Like if they like things a little bit sweeter, you can put fresh watermelon juice or pineapple juice. If they don't, you can put it more like citric, like with lime, and make it like a spicy spritz or something like that, but still light, just to inch them into the drinking vibe.
Okay.
After a long day of work, it's been stressful. You had 50 meetings.
Yeah.
It ran late.
Yeah.
You done got home. It's dark. You tired. No one talks to nobody else. You just want to lay down on your couch, turn on TV, and have a glass of
Spicy margarita.
Oh,
Margarita. I ain't talking to anybody. I might even chew on that jalapeno to like wash out the day. And yes, spicy margarita.
Fun fact, we had snacks in the back, and I actually bit into the jalapeno. I love jalapeno. I love spicy stuff, so.
Yeah.
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but if you can order one drink for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Spicy margarita.
Okay. I figured.
Yeah. We'll pretend this is my first one too.
Right.
Do you have any advice you would give to other women who are looking to join the industry?
Yes, there's two pieces of advice I would say, because I see this time and time again. The first piece is don't be afraid to share your ideas, right? I feel like women are such perfectionists. They don't want to share something until it's perfect, or they're ready to do it. It's hard for them to just go for it, I see a lot of my guy friends, they'll be like, I had an idea and I just did it. Mm-hmm. And it may or not have worked, but women, I think they have to have it perfect in their head, or perfect business plan, or perfect anything to start. And I think you should just start. And then, because nothing's ever going to be perfect. We all know this, right? You plan out a day, it never looks like that way, right? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, in the same kind of breath of sharing your ideas, tell your ideas to people that you want support from, right? Ask for help. No one's stealing your idea, right? No one's going to be like, okay, instead of you creating an infused tequila company, I'm going to just do it. I'm going to steal that idea. No one's doing that. So they're going to be like, oh, maybe I have someone that could help you, or maybe I can put you in touch with somebody. But if you never talk about your ideas and you keep them to yourself, then it's going to be hard to metamorphosize into something bigger.
Right. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Sometimes I feel like people want to keep it to themselves until they have it perfected. And sometimes, like you said, people can help you with different ideas, or maybe help you tweak certain ideas. Yeah. I did have another question for you. What would you say, or can you describe a day in your life, like a typical day?
Well, a typical day in my life now is very different than a typical of my life before, but I would say that a lot of times I'm doing content for social media, and my favorite part of my job and my day is to go out and meet people that are drinking the tequila, going to bars, going to restaurants, going to meet people, just watching them enjoy product. It's so exciting for me to see that the ideas that we had and the reality that it became, and watching people enjoy themselves drinking this cocktail is the best part of my day. Literally, I tell my friends, I'm like, oh my God, they loved this. I get excited every single time. People that are like, I'm not a tequila drinker, but I like this. I'm like, success. That was such success. So, yeah.
How was the process from we want to do a tequila, we want to make a tequila, okay, what was that timeline? How long did it take before you guys got your first your product?
Yes.
Your first bottle. Okay, this is it.
Yeah, so we decided to do it. We had it in market within a year, and then we were the fastest growing tequila and the #1 flavored tequila within a 3-year period. And then we sold to Diageo 3 years later. So, yeah. I gotta tell you, having immigrant parents tell you there's only one speed in life, which is you better run before they catch you.
Okay.
That's it.
That's fun.
So how do you feel I feel like there's a lot of tequila brands that are popping up. How do you feel do you think the market is getting more saturated? I hear also sometimes the quality is not the same when it comes to different tequila. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, my sister and I and Sarika always say it's like the sea of sameness, right? They're still marketing it like scotches and whiskeys, to be sipped, and it's so precious, right? And we're fun tequila. We want to be with our girls. We want to be with our vibe, our tribe, and we authentically wanted to make tequila that was so much more approachable. And with this infused tequila, we think that we always say it's as easy as drinking a glass of wine. And which, I mean, it is. And so we really just don't feel like there's anyone that's done it the way we have.
Okay.
And I think that's just in general, regardless of what we did or what some other people do. I think it's so important to have a point of view and not be apologetic about it, right? Like, this is what we set out to do. We didn't care what was happening with other tequilas or even other, flavored items or what have you. We're like, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. We want to make the best experience for us and our girls. And so we're going to make it happen. And that's what we did.
I love that. So I have a question that's kind of
All right, I like these questions.
How do you say you fit self-care into your day? I know you kind of described your day a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a juggle, right? Like, no one's gonna have that perfect answer. And what I try to do is I just try to be present, and if I'm working, that's not gonna be the day that I have self-care. I'm working, I'm hustling, I'm doing it. If I have a day off and I'm with my kids, then I'm on with my kids and I'm gonna be present with that. And if I have a moment to myself, I'm gonna be present in that moment and I'm gonna take that moment for myself. But it's really about just trying to be everything to everybody all at once. Doesn't work for me. And so, I can't feel like a bad mom if I'm working, and I can't feel like a bad worker if I'm being a mom. So I just really try to just focus on, or be a bad wife if I'm not with my husband. So I just gotta really focus on where I'm at and just try to be present, and also take some time for myself to really hear my thoughts and my feelings, so that there's something left for me too in all of that. So
I found, because I've become a very, very busy person lately. I have 3 jobs. And I learned, when you said be present in that moment, that's something that I learned recently with myself, and just kind of being like now I'm recording a podcast, I'm interviewing one of the founders of 21Cs, being present in that moment and not thinking about other stuff that you got going on. Everything is already going on. Live in that moment, in that moment at that time, and be present. And then, when you're hanging out with your friends, live in that moment with your friends and with your family and different things like that. So I think that was good that you said that, because that kind of reminded me of something that I said to myself, because I'm you can get caught up in the moment, and then time go by so fast when you got so much to do, and you don't realize that it's Friday and you thought it was Monday. So.
Right. That happens a lot more than it should.
So, but that's cool.
And during this journey, if you were to look back, when you guys first started, was there anything that you wish you would have done differently, or anything that sticks out that was a pivotal moment in your success?
Yeah, I don't think we would have done anything differently, but one thing that was, everyone's be careful to go in business with your friends or your family, you've heard these tales of families breaking up, and I say they're wrong, right?
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, well, one, I'm Greek, so every family, Greek business, but the reason why I say they're wrong is because there was already that inherent trust in each other. We really trusted each other's ability. So we very much had our own lanes in the business, and we could run so much more faster because we didn't have to check in and do a kumbaya session every single time we wanted to make a decision. It's finance business, I got it. Sarka with product and everything like that, she's got it. Kat with marketing and whatever else she was up to, which was a lot. She got it, and we really just came together on really defining moments of the business, but we really had our lanes and we could run a lot faster. So if it's family you trust, go in business with your family. If it's friends you trust, go in business with your friends. If it's neither and you trust somebody else, great. But I don't think it's a hard, fast rule. I think it's the people that really can be a good counterpart to your skill set of and being able to run fast, because that is key. So many things come out in the market and you have to just run fast. So
yeah, I would agree. And I love how you mentioned it's okay to do business with your friends, because we're actually friends who started a podcast.
I love it.
A fun night out.
Let's cheers to you, ladies.
Cheers.
See? That's how you say it. That's, see?
have any advice you would give to your younger self?
I'd probably say listen to your gut more. You know, like so many people influence you when you're younger about like maybe that's not the right idea, and you're like, okay, maybe it isn't, or you know, and so you kind of zigzag to the final answer sometimes in your life because you just don't listen to yourself. And you know, we have a good gut for a reason, right? Like you have that inner voice, and like silencing it is not always the right answer. Sometimes it is, because sometimes you might have some crazy ideas. But if I were in my younger years, I would just say, you know, you gotta just trust your gut a little bit more. And being a finance human, I would always want to like prove my thought to, like mathematically or whatever. Like this is why I should do it, and I should just be like, no, this is just the right answer.
Awesome.
I have another unrelated question. Well, kind of sort of. I like those. How many kids do you have, if you don't mind?
I have 2 kids. I have a son that's 9, and I have a daughter that's 7, who thinks she's going to rule me. And I want to encourage that because I want, you know, it's like you want to empower your children, but especially your daughters and women, because you want to make sure that they are fighting for that seat at the table, starting from a little kid, moving on. You know, sometimes I don't want her fighting with me at that seat at the table, but what are you gonna do? Yeah.
What keeps you motivated in your day-to-day?
So I've always been motivated by like just grit. Like I want to always do like the best thing I could possibly do. So it's not like I'm not goal oriented in the sense that like if I hit here, I can check that box and be done. If I'm showing up, I want to be the best at whatever I do. And if I'm not, then I can relax, right? So what motivates me is just like giving my all always. Like I said, I come from a mother that is, you know, she's Greek and she's really Greek, and she was always like such a hustler and such a, you know, drive, like everything. Like I feel like she did like 20 jobs in a day somehow. And I just respect that grit so much that like if you're gonna do something, you gotta give it your all always. And that's what motivates me, is just to be, I guess, a little bit like my mom in that way. Yeah, make her proud. Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
All right. There are versions to the story. Okay. So my favorite food when I'm being good, but I love it, is sushi. Love it. I love sushi. There's never a bad meal with sushi.
Yeah.
My favorite food when it's real is Mexican.
I love Mexican
Okay.
food. Like,
But when it's fake Mexican, when you try to tell me it's Mexican and it ain't, then it's not my favorite food.
The best Mexican food I think I had was when I went to Cabo like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, that was also my first time going out of the country. So,
Yeah.
and I realized that America has different rules and like regulations when it comes to preparing food and
Yeah.
different things like that. So when we got the food, I'm just watching them cook it. I'm like, I know that's probably not how it's supposed to be made. Like here in like America, but we're in Mexico. Like actually, we went to do like ATVs and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like out in like actual like Cabo. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is right.
And it's the best.
And it was fire.
Yep.
Like, it was so good. It was
Yeah.
so good. And I'm like, wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't get that back at home. I gotta get it here.
I know. That was one of the hardest part about it.
Mexican town here? Or
Say
have you
no.
heard about it?
No.
You have to
Oh,
go.
you have to check
Wait,
it out.
you have? Oh, we have. We have?
She like,
You have to try it out.
I
have
will
not.
send you to this restaurant. It's my favorite Mexican restaurant that's over there. It's across from the bar that I manage. And they have
Ooh.
like,
I'm gonna
some
love
great
that.
tacos.
Yeah.
it's
No, I
authentic
haven't.
Mexican food.
Oh my God. Sign me up. Yes. Yes, please.
And it's not far from here. Like, it's literally 10 minutes. So, if
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah, we
Yes.
have a whole little Mexican town community. It's really good.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
any
my
restaurant
God.
you go to is probably gonna be good.
I agree.
Yeah, that was the hardest part moving out of California.
Uh-huh.
Is when, you know, because California Mexican is different than other states that are Mexican, and so
we had Mexican when we were in California. I actually enjoyed those tacos.
I like their food a lot.
Their food was good. So actually, when you brought that, I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
I mean, Mexico, you know, like different areas have their own traditions and they're all delicious. But then you have Mexican food per state,
right?
And that's all different too.
Yeah.
Like Tex-Mex and California Mex, there's like fighting and how it is. Like you don't even want to hear about the queso wars, which I won't even go into because I have no right in this fight. But apparently it's a real thing.
Okay. Mexican food is my favorite food, so
yeah, it's good.
The twins right there.
Yeah, I probably should have said Greek. My mom's gonna kill me. but
what's your favorite dish that your mom has like made or like that is?
Yeah, I really like this. It's called pasticho, and it's like lasagna, but a Greek version of lasagna. Essentially, it has just a lot more, you know, cream and it's not like, there's no red sauce or anything to it. Oh, there might be actually, I don't know, but it's delicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Pasticho.
So going back to the brands, what are you guys trying to innovate? Anything new? Or are you just going to stay in this lane and ride it out? Or
well, we're innovators, right? We did an infused tequila when there was none on the market, right? There was flavored things, but we really innovated by how we infused our tequila, and we're always trying to push the envelope on what we do. I'm not allowed to discuss any of our, you know, stuff that we're thinking about, but just know our heads are always, you know, spinning and going.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the difference from infusion and flavor?
Yeah, so our process is an actual infused process, meaning imagine, you know, like when you infuse at home, right? You put real things in water, for example, or tea or whatever. And flavored is like just drop of whatever flavoring you're gonna do. Yeah, so it's like snow cone or tea, right? It's like a different vibe of what you're trying to do. And we actually like had to go down to Mexico, build refrigeration, you know, actually really do the process of infusion, which is not an easy feat, especially in another country like Mexico. So, but it was great. And our distillery partner was great.
So how does that part go? In like going to Mexico, do you have to frequent that a lot, or more in the front end, or how does that?
Yeah,
go?
we don't. Oh, I think he's waving at us.
I was trying to do. I'm like,
5 minutes more.
5 minutes.
Okay.
That's okay.
I was like, I'm getting in trouble here. It's because he doesn't have a spicy margarita. He would be waving if he had a spicy margarita. He'd be like forgetting to wave. Yes, we went down to our distillery is actually in the town of Tequila, Mexico. So a lot of people don't know, but tequila is a drink of origin similar to like champagne.
Okay.
So you can only call champagne if it's made in Champagne, France, right? Otherwise, it's sparkling wine, right? Or if in Spain it's cava, right? They have to be sexy, of course. But in for tequila, it has to be made in Jalisco, and our distillery is made in the town of Tequila, Mexico.
Okay.
So when we went down there, we visited a lot of different distilleries, and the one we found had what we believed was the best Blanco to do what we were trying to do, but she really had to trust us in this process because we were asking her to do a lot of things and use a lot of space in her distillery to make this product. So it was definitely like, I hope you do it, you know, for us. And so there was a lot of faith there of her helping us as well. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I have one more question.
Okay.
And all of us love astrology and talking about our signs and things like that. Could you tell us what your sign is, your zodiac sign?
I can, and I can tell you a story. I have a story for you. So, being the very responsible finance human that I am, I decide to cash in my 401k and travel the world, which doesn't sound responsible at all.
Sounds
But
fun.
sounds like me. But I needed to do this for my mental sanity, right? I just needed to hear my voice again, hear who I was, and just needed to take a breath. It was like Eat, Pray, Love without the messy divorce or any guy involved, right? And so I travel around the world, and I end up, and one of the places I go to is India, and I meet this astrologist. I'm a Scorpio, by the way.
Okay.
And in India, you have 12 houses, right? You have a finance house, a love house, a family house, all different houses of your astrology. And he said to me, you will be very successful in life, but you'll be the most successful if you go into business with your family. And I don't even remember this, right? Like, many years go by, 10 years go by. I don't remember that this was what they told me. And when my sister asked me to do the tequila company, I said yes, still not remembering. And then as the success is rolling in and we're doing well and people are loving our tequila, we were on the Oprah magazine the first year, which, you know, she's a goddess. So Oprah says it's good.
Okay, Oprah says it's good. It's stamped.
She can do no wrong, right? Fine. But, and then that's when we realized, Kat and I, my sister looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, this is what your astrologist said. And so, yeah, there you go.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank
So believe in astrology.
Yeah.
You hear that?
I'm starting
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was so amazing having you on the podcast. Do you have any final words that you want to share with us or share with those listening?
Never be afraid to say yes. Just do it. So, there you
that.
go.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you know where to find us on social media. We are After5 Pod on both Instagram and Twitter, and 21 Seeds can be found at 21 Seeds on social media. So, thank you so much